Yo, what's up guys, I'm back, got a review for you. This time we have the 81 Martial now. I thought a lot of people are going to be using him at the start of the game, especially come the 1st of October on Thursday. A lot of people use him because he's a French Premier League striker. He's got good stats and he's 4-star, 4-star. So, on stats then. 87 pace, 80 shooting, 73 passing, 85 dribbling and 68 physical. So on paper, looks like quite a good well-rounded starter striker. But I'll speak more about that after. I hope you enjoy the clips. If you've been enjoying the content, please like, subscribe so I can do more for you guys. But I've got nothing more to say, so peace.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers.
So on to positives about the card then. So on my list of positives, I've started off with the pace, and I said ish. So the pace for Martial, because he's 6 foot tall, isn't the best. He's quite slow to mark, especially with his 87. Like, let's just say you got Lacroix or Saint Just against him or something like that. They are just as fast as him, if not faster. So just be wary of that. So the pace is good to an extent. You need a hunter on him, I would say. So yeah, the pace is decent, but it's not bad. It's one of those alright kind of paces. Next up for me is going to be the finishing. The finishing for him is actually quite good, to be fair, especially with a plus 10 on either foot. Like 90 finish on either foot, that's really, really good. Hit it across goal is probably going to go in near post if you're going to hit it hard, and that'll link me nicely to my next point. Shot power, hit it hard with the 88 shot power, goes in quite a lot of the time, near post, far side. That is actually quite a good stat for him. And that'll nicely link me on to my next one. If you want to finesse it with him, he probably could because of his curve stat. So that's a really nice stat for him. The curve allows him to bend it into the corners really nicely and onto the side netting. Which, again, leading me on to another one. The finesse shot trait. That goes in hand in hand with the curve, goes in hand in hand with the finishing, goes in hand in hand with the shot power. All of these make him a really nice striker to finish with. Sometimes, I'll talk more about the negatives, but sometimes he doesn't get into positions where I put the attack position in the positives. He doesn't really get into positions, it's kind of hard to make him to get into them. But when he's in front of goal, he should finish quite a lot of things, to be honest. Next up for me is going to be the agility. Now this I put in brackets to an extent. Now the agility isn't bad, to be fair. It's okay. Like, he can twist and turn. He's not one of those Inaki kind of players where he's a bust, but the height is a little bit of a issue with the agility. It makes it a little bit less because the taller players, they're less agile always. I don't know why in FIFA. Next up to me is going to be the balance. Now the balance is actually really, really good for him, along with the strength. Both of these two, I'm going to put them both positives like together. They allow him to not get pushed off the ball really easily, which is a really good stat for him. Because, like most of the time, people either have the balance because they're really small and have no strength, or have the strength but are really tall, so have the balance. So he has a bit of both, so that's kind of nice. So he doesn't really get pushed off when the defender's like tugging and pushing on him. So that is quite nice about him. Next up for me is going to be the dribbling stat. Now the dribbling stat for him is actually really good. This is what makes his agility quite good overall, to be fair. 88 dribbling, you don't really need to boost that at all. It's a perfectly good enough stat, especially for a striker. Last for me is going to be the outside the foot shot trait. Now, I've always liked this trait, just for, like, let's say I have a bad week for something. I know Martial doesn't, but if they have a bad week for, they can hit it across goal, especially since this year, cross goal shots are quite good. You hit it, like, on the outside the foot, across goal, on a strong foot, and it'll go in. So that is a really nice trait for him. But that's all for the positives. Now let's go on to negatives. So on to negatives for Martial then. So first for negatives, I'm going to kick it off with something I don't really go with. Usually it's the low. Now the low work rates are actually really bad for him. Sometimes he gets lost because of the low work rates, and he just wouldn't run. And like I'll trigger him and he still wouldn't run. He would just stand there. Like his work rates are very, very annoying. But like I know for a striker you may think it's not that bad because he can just sit up front, but he just doesn't really like get into the positions you want him to, and that'll link me on to the next point. His attack positioning along with his work rates don't really go well together as a striker. Like you need these strikers to be running for own goal, making the right runs, getting in the right positions, holding the ball, passing it to. He doesn't really get into the right positions. He kind of gets lost sometimes, so just be wary of that when using Martial. Next up for me, for Martial, is going to be the passing. Now, this is a common theme for most of the strikers I've been using, because they're start strikers, they don't really have much passing, and you need quite a bit of passing this year to do 1-2s, wide play. It's not the best, to be honest. Like, I know his curve is good, and I put that in the positives. Ignore the curve, all the other passing stats, not really the best, to be honest. Next up for me is going to be, I know I've touched on the agility on the positives, but I'm also going to touch on the negatives. So the agility, because he's 6 foot tall, sometimes he's a little bit stiffer than I would usually expect. Like say I'm using like a Dembele, and then I go past it to Martial, and he's just really stiff compared to Dembele because of his 6 foot stature, should I say. So yeah, just be wary of that. Sometimes he can turn, sometimes he can't, but he's not like Inaki kind of bust. Like he's not bad at turning. Next up for me is going to be the aeriality. Now I know he's 6 foot tall, but low 70 stats for both his head and accuracy and jumping doesn't allow him to be a really good striker at all. Sorry, not a good striker, not a good aerial striker. Sorry, he's a quite a good striker, just not a good aerial striker. Don't try and like lift it up in the air to him because he's not really going to be doing much with it. It gets sent to like 6'2", 80 jumping centre backs. Like it's just not going to happen. The last for me, and not least, it's the worst point about him, I'd probably say, it's his stamina. Now, although you may think the low work rates will counteract the stamina, no, the stamina does not last. Like, you either have to use him as a super sub and bring him on, or sub him off about the 70th minute. So, do what you want with him, but like, I would say he's more of a starter card, rather than like a mid-game card or something like that, or maybe a chemistry player. I know it sounds bad, but like, I wouldn't advise you bringing him on for the bench. I think there's better cards to bring on for the bench, like faster, better, probably all-round better cards. Like, you need someone that's got pace and agility coming on for your bench. It's obviously got finishing as well, and Martial just isn't your guy for that. So, start him, but you have to take him off for like 70 minutes. That's all for the negatives. Now let's get to overall score. So, over Martial, I do think he's a good card. He's got a good league. He's got a good nation. Overall, he's a very well-balanced card for a start striker. Overall score for him, I would give him a 8.1. I think that's in between Ousmane Dembele and Inaki. I think that's where he should be. I can't remember exactly. I think I put Inaki at an 8. So an 8.1 for Martial. He's just about better. He's slower and he's probably lazier, but he's probably the better finisher with the better weak foot, and probably the better dribbling. So overall for him, he's a little bit better than Inaki, I'd say, but not too much. That's all for my review. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and peace out, guys.